Welcome to this video on the Book of Haggai. In this video, we'll explore the key themes, messages, and important lessons from this short but powerful book of the Bible. The Book of Haggai was written by the prophet Haggai himself. He was a prophet during the time of the Persian Empire, around 520 BC. This was a crucial period in Israel's history, just after the Jewish people had returned from their Babylonian exile. Many had come back to Jerusalem to rebuild the city and the temple, which had been destroyed. Haggai's role was to encourage them to finish the work they had started, specifically the rebuilding of the temple of God. So, why did God speak through Haggai to urge the people to complete the temple? Why was it so important? And how can his message speak to us today about our own priorities and spiritual life? Stick around to find out. The Book of Haggai is one of the minor prophets in the Old Testament, and it contains only 2 chapters. Despite its short length, the book carries a significant message. The Israelites had returned from Babylon after being exiled for so many years, and this was a time when they were struggling with rebuilding their spiritual and physical lives. They faced many challenges and had gotten distracted from rebuilding the temple, which was central to their worship and identity as God's people. Haggai's mission was clear. He urged them to rebuild the temple of God and put God first in their lives. At this time, the people were focused more on their personal lives and prosperity than on God's work. They had laid the foundation for the temple, but the project had stalled. Haggai's prophecies addressed their complacency, and he encouraged them to finish what they had started. Through his messages, Haggai emphasized the importance of priorities and the need to place God at the center of life. He also reassured the people that God was with them and would bless their efforts if they returned to their responsibilities. Chapter 1. A Call to Rebuild the Temple. In Haggai 1, we see the beginning of God's message to the Israelites. After returning from Babylonian exile, the people had started rebuilding Jerusalem, but the temple, the center of their worship and God's presence, was left unfinished. God calls their attention to the fact that while they have focused on building their own homes and securing their own well-being, the temple remains in ruins. God asks why they are living in paneled houses while his house is neglected. The people had been working on their personal lives, but they had forgotten God's priorities. God points out that their current struggles are the direct result of their misplaced priorities. Despite their hard work, they had not seen the fruit of their labor, crops were failing, and their resources seemed to diminish. God uses this situation to show them that until they put him first and finish the work he has given them, their lives will not fully flourish. Haggai urges the people to start rebuilding the temple and to align their priorities with God's will. He reassures them that when they make God's work a priority, he will bless them. God doesn't just want the Israelites to be busy with their own lives. He wants them to focus on the bigger picture, which is to honor him with their actions. Haggai challenges the people to reassess their priorities. The message here is clear. When we place God at the center of our lives, he promises to bless our efforts and provide for our needs. Chapter 2. God's encouragement and promise of future glory. In Haggai 2, the tone shifts slightly, moving from challenge to encouragement. The people are discouraged because the new temple they are building seems insignificant compared to the magnificent Solomon's temple that had been destroyed. Many of the older Israelites who remembered the first temple weep at the sight of the second one. God speaks directly to these feelings of discouragement, telling them not to be disheartened by the appearance of the new temple. The glory of the second temple, though physically smaller, would actually be greater than the first. Why? Because God himself would bring his presence to this new temple, filling it with his glory. It wouldn't be the physical grandeur that made it glorious, but the fact that God would be there. God also promises that he will shake the heavens and the earth, and that peace will come through the work they are doing. He assures the people that the future will hold greater things, and they need to continue their work faithfully, trusting in His promises. Even when their efforts feel small or insignificant, God assures them that their obedience will lead to a greater purpose. In this chapter, Haggai also calls for purity and holiness in the people's hearts. Just as they must clean the physical temple, their hearts must also be pure and devoted to God. Sin and disobedience will only hinder the work they are doing for God. Even though the people were discouraged by the physical limitations of their efforts, God reminded them that the glory of His presence would make their work eternal. The key takeaway is that obedience and faithfulness bring a lasting glory, one that transcends physical appearances. God's promise of peace and glory reminds us that even in times of hardship, God's presence can transform our situations. The work we do for God, no matter how small or difficult it seems, is never in vain. To summarize the book of Haggai, we can see how powerful and relevant its message is, even for us today. The people of Israel had a clear task in front of them: rebuild the temple of God. However, they had gotten sidetracked by their own desires and personal needs. Haggai's prophecy called them to reprioritize and focus on the work God had given them. Only by putting God first could they expect to see His blessings in their lives. The key themes from Haggai are timeless. 1. Prioritize God's work. Haggai challenged the people to focus on rebuilding the temple, and by doing so, they would honor God. This isn't just about a physical structure, but about setting our priorities on what matters most to God. 2. God's presence with His people. No matter how difficult the task seemed, God assured the Israelites that He would be with them. He will never leave us alone in our work for Him. God's presence is what makes our efforts truly significant. 3. Encouragement in times of discouragement. Just as the Israelites were discouraged by the smallness of the temple compared to the old one, we too can feel discouraged by the challenges we face. But God's promise was that the glory of the second temple would be greater, not by human standards, but by His divine presence. This is a call to trust God, even when things look small or insignificant. 4. Faithfulness and purity. God's call for holiness and purity in worship emphasizes that our hearts must align with our actions. We are called not just to work for God, but to do so with purity and a right relationship with Him. Haggai's message isn't just for the Israelites. It speaks to us today about where we place our priorities and how we approach the work God has called us to do. Are we focusing on our own comfort, or are we putting God's kingdom first? Do we allow discouragement to hold us back from continuing the work that God has given us? Just as God promised His presence and blessing to the Israelites, He promises the same to us when we commit to His work. The book of Haggai encourages us to continue faithfully, trusting that our efforts are never in vain when we align them with God's will. No matter how difficult or small the task may seem, God is with us, and His glory will shine through our faithfulness. So what has the story of Haggai taught you? How does this journey of faith relate to your life? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for joining me as we explored the book of Haggai. May this message inspire you to put God first and trust that His presence will bring greater glory to your life. And if you found something meaningful today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.